Good morning, welcome to just outside St Austell in Cornwall in October 1988. This video will demonstrate the new free roam feature in Train Sim World 4. We have inserted an InterCity Exec liveried HST into the timetable, and have just been given a proceed aspect for our non-stop journey to Penzance. We ease up the power to begin our journey. The speed limits on this line are relatively low for an intercity service line. There is also some single track running, a feature of the time period this route portrays in TSW4. Ahead of us we see a Class 150 Sprinter in Regional Railways livery. Traffic is light on this run, but there is some passing traffic and locos or units of interest in the yards and stations en route. The journey will last around 50 minutes and sees us arrive in Platform 1 at Penzance. Passing our first station of the trip, St Austell, you will notice that due to the time of day, and being that it's October, that the lighting from the cab camera looks a little dim. As we head further towards our destination of Penzance, however, you will see some attractive sunrise and scenic shots, as we alternate between the HST cab camera, the external passing camera and the line side camera. Not prototypical of the time period in which the route is set in game is the use of ATP in the HST cab. The rather excellent InterCity Exec livery portrayed in our trip was available at the time of recording from the Creators Club area of the Dovetail website and available to subscribe to and import into the game. Over time we hope to bring you some interesting journeys using the free roam feature of TSW4, and in particular where you can inject a consist of your choosing into the game's running timetable. It can lead to interesting signaling issues and priority decisions, as well as some looping and delays which the core game has lacked since it was first introduced. We are now approaching Burngallow Junction and Depot. Note our still modest speed. This part of the route from London Paddington sees nothing like the 125 miles per hour running out of London, and across the M4 corridor of England that the HST was famed for. In this journey, we will not reach much more than 70 miles per hour. The occasional overspeed will be seen, along with corrective braking action, as the route has quite a number of gradient changes ready to catch out the unsuspecting driver. Just after Burngallow in the time period portrayed in the route, being the late 80s and early 90s, the once double track now singles and is bidirectional. The route as it is in the current day has again been redoubled. The British Rail InterCity Exec livery portrayed here was in use on HST, sets in the period before the similar InterCity Swallow livery came to be. The Swallow livery was applied to all classes of locomotives and coaching stock undertaking InterCity duties, but the InterCity Executive, or Exec livery as shown here, was more associated with HST sets, and came after the original blue-grey InterCity livery applied to the 125 from its introduction to service. As we approach the junction that sees the main line return to two-track running, we find a Class 150 Regional Railway Sprinter unit patiently awaiting its turn on the single-track section back towards Burngallow. We continue on our journey, albeit at a maximum of 75 miles per hour towards Truro, Redruth, Campbell, Hale and St Austell to name the more significant stations on the line. Our train is about to enter Bucks Head Tunnel just outside Truro. The service we are following today is running non-stop since leaving Bristol on its journey to Penzance. Just outside Truro, the famous viaduct which bears the town's name. Our train continues through the station towards the long disused station at Chasewater. . Note that semaphore signaling exists on the route in the time period portrayed, and specifically BR Western Region lower quadrant signaling, common across the region. There are areas, albeit now rare on the UK rail network, where you can still find semaphore signaling in use. In the depot this morning just outside Truro, we see a Class 37 locomotive, in BR Rail Freight grey livery, popular at the time. However, BR large logo blue and BR blue liveries dominated most locomotive classes even at the end of the 1980s. The rail freight sector's liveries were next to be applied in the 90s. Some may say the section of route here is fairly featureless, and they would not be wrong. But as is true to life, there are vast expanses of open countryside in this part of Cornwall. What TSW4 seems particularly good at is the lighting at certain times of day, also the weather and ambience in general, as can be seen by this attractive, almost photo-realistic sunrise. we pass another Class 150 regional railway sprinter unit making its early morning way back down the line towards St Austell and beyond. This routing game features these units in two-car formation, along with layered-in Class 101 units, Class 47 locomotives with coaches, mail or newspaper vans in tow, and the venerable Class 37 in large logo grey rail freight livery busies itself with various track maintenance and renewal trains. The new free roam feature of TSW4 allows much more scope for prototypical UK rail operations, slotting in your chosen formation within the existing timetable, and the scenario planner in-game allows for some very specific gameplay options. Another interesting feature in more recent Train Sim World releases is the inclusion of dynamic weather. Up to now on our trip today, what's been a fairly sunny start to the day is about to get a little wetter as the heavens begin to open on us. We're rounding the corner and heading non-stop through Redruth now as our non-stop service continues on its way to Penzance. What we have seen in recent times are HST and IET sets stopping at even the smaller and less used stations on the line, such as Hale and St Austell, although it is a popular area for holidays and this may well be why rail services today serve the area well. Back in the late 80s, depicted in our journey today, British Rail was all for saving money. Stations had fallen into a state of disrepair, been abandoned entirely, and capacity on the line had been reduced by the introduction of the Sprinter class DMU fleet, as was common across the country at the time. Penzance still received its intercity services from London, however, both at the time depicted in the route in-game and the current day. Although current London services are in the hands of the Class 800 with the HST, in shorter form now relegated to shorter, regional services at lower speeds. We're now approaching Camborne. We will pass non-stop on our way towards Penzance, getting ever closer. Again, the low speed limits on this section of line hold us back, a maximum of 60 miles per hour in this section. Another example of the way lighting has improved in-game as TSW continues to release new core versions of the time. The laptop used to capture this footage is a modest i7 with RTX 3070 graphics where it runs at generally decent frames. usually around 60 frames per second with highs up to 90 and lows down to 30 or 40, certainly playable. We now pass the disused Gwynear Road station, the Angerac Viaduct and station at Hale approaches. Ladies and gentlemen, Hale is your next station stop. The nearby seaside town of St Ives awaits with an open-top bus connection, or, if you remain on the train, the delightful seaside branch line from St Erth to St Ives will soon be upon us. Note the speed limit of just 45 miles per hour that governs this section of track. No one said getting to Penzance by train would be exceptionally fast, although you could agree it is one of the more picturesque ways to do it. We are now approaching St Austell. Not only is Penzance not far away, but neither are sand, sea, and sunshine at St Ives. You can change at St Austell to take a trip down the branch line, served at the time the game portrays the route by the Class 101 and Class 150 DMUs. Note some stock in the carriage sidings. St Austell is not the sleepy backwater station we may have assumed. Nearing Penzance, we dropped a single line working near to the Long Rock Motive Power Depot, home to refueling, cleaning and stabling points for a variety of locomotives, coaches, wagons and multiple units. Track work will expand again before arrival at Penzance. Being a terminus station, this short single-track section never seems to cause a bottleneck. Also note the carriage wash to the right as we continue on our way. Expect our maximum speed to drop to just 15 miles an hour shortly. St Michael's Mount is clearly visible in the distance in game. Just outside Penzance, our final station stop, we find a Class 150D MU in Regional Railways livery stable temporarily. It will run back into Penzance nearer to its service start time. It's not a busy arrival into Penzance today, so we have not been delayed. It is hoped for future free roam into timetabled videos that we will see a variety of traffic and delays. In this case the line is not the busiest by any stretch, but is a scenic and interesting route all the same. And bringing the HST into Penzance is not something the core game allows you to do. It's been a pleasure having you along with us today. Thanks for watching. Penzance is our next and final station stop. We shut down our locomotive here at Penzance and leave the train. Once again, thank you for watching. We will return soon with more TSW or real-world trains content. Take care and goodbye for now.